Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you know that we have finished our syllabus of English as your classes have been running since 1st of April. Videos are there on YouTube. You can watch the videos if you want to read your chapter once again, line by. If you want to watch the videos in which I have explained the chapter line by line, so please watch those videos from beginning. So now we are going to start the revision. It is not going to be a quick revision. During revision also we are going to cover chapters in detail. So through the help of PPTs and through the help of PDFs, so we will be discussing the chapters in detail. So we will be discussing hard words and their meanings, summary of the chapter and about the characters, and we will also be taking some extra questions and their answers. So okay students, so let's get ready for the same. So today we are going to start the revision of chapter 1, the portrait of a lady, written by Khushwant Singh, in your hornbill. It is the portrait of a lady. Let me write here the chapter 1, the portrait of a lady, written by Khushwant Singh. Okay, so I hope you all are ready for the revision. So it's not a quick revision. We will be analyzing the chapter, all the chapters in detail once again, as we have done the first time. But this time I am not going to read out each line and explain. So I will be going through the summary of the chapter, important facts of the chapter about the characters, hard words and their meanings, extra questions and their answers. Okay, so let's begin. Chapter 1, the portrait of a lady, written by Khushwant Singh. So dear students, this PPT includes about the author, word meaning, summary, questions and answers, and practice questions. And you will be glad to know that this PPT has been prepared by 2 students of your class. Okay, this PPT has been prepared by Adarsh Singh and Shubham Yadav of your class. So they have prepared this PPT beautifully, and this PPT includes all the information regarding the chapters in detail. So let us begin. So first of all, we are going to go through about the author. So as when we can see on the screen, author of this chapter, Khushwant Singh, born on February 2nd, 1915 and died on March 20, 2014. He was an Indian author, lawyer, diplomat, journalist and politician. He rode the train to Pakistan in 1956 by getting inspired from the partition of India in 1947. He was bestowed by Padma Bhushan in 1974, Padma Vibhushan in 2007, Punjab Ratna Award in 2006, etc. Some of his best known works are Train to Pakistan, Why I Supported the Emergency, Delhi a Novel, and The Portrait of a Lady. And the chapter which we are going to read, it is The Portrait of a Lady, one of his beautiful works. Okay. So dear students, first let us go through some difficult words and their meanings of this chapter. Mental peace. First word is mental peace. Mental peace means a shelf fixed on wall above the fire. Mental peace means a shelf fixed on wall above the fire. Prophet, prophet means speaker of divine inspiration. Hobbled, hobbled means unsteady, off balance step, or moving an awkward way. Hobbled also means moving, hobbled around. These two words are put together in this chapter, which means moving in and walking in an awkward way. Silver locks, here white hairs. Serenity means calmness. Serenity means calmness. Harlots means a person of low birth status. Veritable bedlam. Veritable bedlam, here it is truly insane. It is about chirping of birds. And frivolous, rebukes means criticizing the act of wasting time. So these are some words and their meanings. Read out the chapter and try to find out more words and their meanings in dictionary. Okay students, so now let us begin towards let us move towards summary of the chapter. In this story, the author draws a pen portrait of his grandmother. He beautifully describes his relationship with her while describing her appearance and daily activities. So the chapter which we are going to read, in this chapter the narrator has described his relationship with his grandmother beautifully. So first of all, you will find in the book, in the first paragraph of the book, the narrator describes appearance of the grandmother. So let us begin with appearance of the grandmother. The author recalls his grandmother as a very old lady with a wrinkled face. She appeared so old that it was hard for him to believe that she had once been young and pretty. So the narrator had been looking her mother, seeing her mother at the same age since last 20 years. That is why it became hard for him to believe that she had once been young and pretty. She was short, fat, and a little stooped in appearance. The author remembers her moving about the house in spotless white. So she was wearing a spotless white dress. It most probably it might be a sari. Counting the beads of her rosary while her lips moved constantly in silent prayers. So grandmothers, the narrator's grandmother used to count the beads. She used to murmur the prayer. Okay, so the narrator tells us her grandmother move about the house in spotless white, counting the beads of her rosary while her lips moved constantly in silent prayers. She was not pretty in the traditional sense, yet her serenity made her beautiful. So the writer tells us, the author tells us that her mother was not pretty in traditional sense. So what is traditional sense mean here? Physically she was not pretty, but her inner soul was sacred. It was beautiful. Okay, so yet her serenity, her calmness made her beautiful. Okay. Further, narrator describes their lives in village. So how he was passing his time with his grandmother in village. So in the following paragraphs, the narrator tells us about the same. So initial years of the togetherness, life in the village. In the initial years of his life, the author lived with his grandmother in the village. sharing a good friendship. His grandmother used to wake him up in the morning and get him ready for the school. She would hand over to him the things he required in the school. After having thick, stale chapatis with butter and sugar for breakfast, they used to leave for school. So, sorry. So, narrator, dear students, the author tells us that in the initial years of his life, he lived with his grandmother in the village, sharing a good friendship, and they were good friends. His grandmother used to wake the narrator up, wake the author up, wake him up in the morning and get him ready for the school. She would hand over to him the things he required in the school. She used to, plaster his slate. She used to pack her lunch. She used to get him ready. So she used to, do everything which was, supposed to be done for students, which is done by a mother for a student. So she was, plastering her slate. You might not know, might not be knowing what is a slate, but if you ask to your parents, then they can tell you what a slate is. So in olden days, earlier, the people used to go to school with a slate. It's a small piece of wood on which they used to write with chalk. Okay. She would hand over him the things he required in the school. After having thick, stale chapatis with butter and sugar for breakfast, they used to leave for school. So, the grandmother also accompanied the author to his school. The author's grandmother always accompanied him to school as it was attached to the temple. As the author's school was attached to the temple, that is why his grandmother also accompanied him to his school. It was her habit to carry several stale chapatis for the village dogs. So it was grandmother's habit to carry several stale chapatis for the village dogs, which they used to which she used to, we can use, because the grandmother as well as the narrator, they used to feed while returning from the school. So the grandmother used to get inside the temple regarding holy books, while the narrator learnt alphabets and prayers in the school. So, when the narrator was learning alphabets and prayers in the school, at the same time, the narrator's grandmother was sitting in the temple and she used to read the scriptures, the holy books in the temple. So now, dear students, it's all about their life in village. Now, turning point of their friendship life in the city. So when they shifted to city, when narrators, author's parents were well settled, then they called author as well as his grandmother to the city, and it was a turning point of their friendship. The turning point of their friendship came when they moved to the city to stay with the author's parents. Though they shared the same room, his grandmother no longer accompanied him to the school since the author started going in a bus. So as the author started going in a bus to school, the author's grandmother uh, could no more go with him to school. She could no more accompany him to school. As years rolled by, they saw less of each other. Meanwhile, as there were no dogs in the streets, so she took to feeding the sparrows. So, as the time passed, so they rarely saw each other. Meanwhile, as there were no dogs in the streets, so she, started feeding the sparrows. She had, grown a habit to feeding the sparrows. Unlike the village school, the author was not taught about God and scriptures, which troubled his grandmother. So, as in the village school, the author was taught prayers, he was taught about God, but in his English medium school in city, he was not taught all these things. So that is why the mother, his grandmother got upset. She was not satisfied with what was taught in an English medium school in the city. She did not believe in what was being taught at the school and was unhappy as she could not help him with his lessons. So, because now grandmother could not help him in his lessons, so she was upset. She was upset that the things which were taught in the school, it was she could not understand those things, and she was also against the things, the subjects which were taught in an English medium school, because there were no teachings of God or religious things. Moreover, she was disturbed at the idea of music lessons being given at school, as she considered music to be unsuitable for gentle folk. So moreover, dear students, she was disturbed at the idea of music lessons which was given in the school. According to her, music was not meant for gentle folk. Music was meant for beggars or harlots. Harlots means peoples of low birth. Okay, so it was associated with them. Music does not associate with the respected one, the people who are respected one in the society. So it made her sad when she came to know that the music lessons being given at school, so as she was considering music to be unsuitable for gentle folk, so it made her sad, but her disapproval was conspicuous in her silence. So she did not say anything. Okay, so her disapproval can be seen through her silence. Okay. Now, dear students, author leaves for higher study. So the author decided to go abroad for further studies. He was sure that his grandmother would be upset at his departure. So now author decided to go abroad for further studies, and he was sure that his grandmother would be upset at his departure. But on the contrary, on the opposite, what the narrator expected, she did not find it. She came to the railway station to see him off, but did not show any emotion. But grandmother, she went to the railway station to see the narrator off, but she did not show any emotion, as the narrator expected that, and the author expected that she would be sad. She was absorbed in her prayers. So she was busy in her prayers, telling the beads of her rosary. She silently kissed the author's forehead, which the author considered to be supposedly the last sign of their physical contact. So, as she was very old, as she was too old, so narrator thought that when she would come back from abroad, he would not, when narrator would come back from abroad, he might not get her alive. So that is why he considered it the last sign of their physical contact. For the students, author's homecoming. So now when author came back from abroad after completing his study, when author came back from abroad, on his return after 5 years, so after 5 years the author came back from abroad, the author did not find any change in his grandmother. So after 5 years, when the author came back from abroad, he did not find any change in his grandmother. She was as old as ever and remained absorbed in her prayers. So still she was busy in her prayer, and the narrator, after coming back from abroad after 5 years, he found her grandmother on the same age. Even that day, the happiest moment for her was feeding the sparrows. So even that day, when narrator came back from abroad, he found that his grandmother's happiest moment was feeding the sparrows. She was enjoying feeding the sparrows even on the day of the narrator's return. In the evening, for the first time ever, she did not pray. So it was the first time when she did not pray. She collected several ladies of the neighborhood and sang songs related to the homecoming of the warriors. So dear students, so it was the first time when she did not pray. She collected several ladies of the neighborhood and she sang the songs related to the homecoming of the warriors. So it happened first time when she did not pray. She had to be persuaded to stop singing in order to avoid overstraining. So in order to avoid overstraining, it could be overburden because she was too old. So she had to be stopped. Persuaded means so they requested her to stop singing the song. It might cause the overstrain. However, the next day she was taken ill. So even though the next day the narrator's grandmother, she was taken ill. Now her end was near. So it was the time of grandmother's death. So though diagnosed with a mild fever by the doctor, grandmother knew that her end was near. So the doctor declared that it was a mild fever and she would get well soon, but it did not happen. The grandmother knew that her end was near. She decided to spend the last few hours of her life reciting prayers and telling her beads. So grandmother, she decided to spend the last few hours of her life reciting prayers and telling her beads. Soon her lips stopped moving and she died. So what happened after she died? So the sparrows which she she would feed. So now they came to pay their silent tribute. Okay. So finally went to make the family went to make arrangements for the grandmother's funeral. So family members, as she died, so then went to uh, make arrangements for the grandmother's funeral, uh, funeral ceremony. Okay, so as they came with a stretcher, they stopped midway to find thousands of sparrows scattered around her dead body. So when they came back with the stretcher, so they found that thousands of sparrows, scattered around her dead body. The sparrows mourned at the death of grandmother in silence, ignoring the breadcrumbs thrown at them by the author's mother. They flew away silently after the body was carried for cremation. When the body was carried for funeral ceremony for cremation, then those birds flew away. So this way the birds also came to pay their tribute to grandmother, who used to feed them crumbs of breads daily. So animals and birds, they have also emotions. If you love them, in return they will also love you. The breadcrumbs were swept away by the sweeper next morning. As the sparrows, they did not touch a single piece of bread, so all those breadcrumbs were swept away by the sweeper the next morning. So dear students, it's all about this chapter. Now let us go through the question answer, through which also we will try to revise the chapter once again. So question number 1, describe the grandmother in your own words. So these are some extra questions and their answers, and really I am very thankful to these two students who worked very hard to prepare this PPT, and they have been attending their classes since 1st of April, since we have started the classes. Okay, so all the concepts are very much clear with them, and they included each and every thing from the chapters in this PPT. So really this PPT is very well, and I hope it is very helpful for you to revise the chapter. Okay, so describe the grandmother in your own words. The grandmother was a deeply religious woman. She was also kind-hearted. She was not pretty to look, yet she was beautiful. She was graceful and dignified in her bearing. She had perfect control over her emotions. She used to feed the dogs and birds. How were the narrator and the grandmother good friends in the village? Grandmother woke him up every morning and got him ready for school. She would bathe and dress him up. She gave him breakfast, got him his slate, ink pot, and accompanied him to school. So while he learnt at school, grandmother used to read the scriptures in the temple. So when the school was over, they would walk back home together and feed the village dog on the way. So it was their life in village. What was the turning point in their friendship? So their arrival in the city was the turning point in the friendship of the author and the grandmother. She was no longer accompanied him to school as he used to go by bus. She could not help him in his studies. They saw less of each other. The common link of friendship was snapped and the distance grew. Why was the author's grandmother unhappy with the city education? So the grandmother did not like the teaching at English school in the city. She was sad, and they did not teach anything about God and the religious scriptures, nor was she interested in science. So she hated music lessons given in the school. Draw a comparison between village school education and city school education. So in the city school, English and science were taught. Music was one of the subjects. There was no teaching about God and scriptures. So the village school was attached to a temple. The priest himself acted as the teacher and taught the children the alphabet and the prayer. So what used to be the happiest moment of the day for the grandmother? So the happiest moment of the day for grandmother was the time when she would feed the sparrows in the afternoon. She sat in the veranda breaking the bread into little bits. Hundreds of sparrows collected around her. Some came and perched on her legs, others on her shoulders. So some even sat on her head. She smiled but never shooed them away. So this used to be the happiest moment of the day for her. Why did grandmother hate music? So grandmother considered that music was indecent and was meant only for harlots and beggars. It was not meant for gentlefolk or school children from respectable families. So what was the last sign of physical contact between the author and the grandmother? So when the author was going abroad for further studies, his grandmother came to see him off at the railway station. She kissed his forehead silently. That was the last sign of physical contact between the author and the grandmother, as he thought that at her age, one could never tell whether he would find her alive after 5 years. So how did the grandmother celebrate the homecoming of her grandson? So grandmother was overjoyed at the homecoming of her grandson. She collected the women of neighborhood, beat the drum, and sang the hours about the homecoming of warriors. So she even forgot to pray that day. Why did grandmother stop talking before her death? The old lady was taken ill. She had a mild fever. The doctor told her that she would be all right soon, but the grandmother declared that her end was near. So she forgot to pray the last evening. She was not going to waste any more time talking to them. So it's all about question answer sessions. Now there are some questions for your practice. So please note these questions down and practice them. So thank you students for watching this video. So as this beautiful PPT prepared by Shubham Yadav and Adarsh Singh, I hope it is very helpful for your revision. So thank you students for watching this video. See you tomorrow.